Hi, I'm Jennifer Mulchandani.
And I'm Heather Myklegard.
Welcome to the M Word,
where we have uncensored conversations on all things marketing. Due to COVID, we are not recording in the studio and apologize for any poor audio or technical glitches. As soon as it is safe, we will have our guests with us in the studio. Until then, stay healthy and wear a mask.
Hello and welcome. My name is Jennifer Mulchandani, and I am the CEO at Arlington Strategy.
And I'm Heather Myklegard. I am the Director of Marketing at Arlington Strategy.
Welcome to the M Word. This is our very first episode, and because we are not interviewing other people today, Heather and I are going to interview each other. Is not exactly how we planned to do this one.
No, we've actually re-recorded this episode many times. We've had scripts and it just felt really unauthentic and it sounded like we were reading it. And Jennifer,
sounded like a commercial.
Yeah. And you had the brilliant idea. I mean, the point of our podcast is to have uncensored conversations. You had the brilliant idea of saying, why are we scripted? Let's just talk to each other. And so here we are.
That's what's called an aha moment.
Yes.
So, Heather, how did we get here though? Like a podcast, like one more podcast? Who needs a podcast?
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, ask for, hope for. I approached Jennifer one day and said, I really want to start a podcast. And I have for the last 2 years. I thought it'd be so fun to try something new and kind of get out of my comfort zone. And you said yes. And here we are.
Because I've always thought about it as well. And, being able to have a platform that, share our brilliance, obviously, but our love of what we do and our passion for our clients and just the real world stuff that we come across, that I always thought a podcast would be so much fun, but I had no idea how to do it. Not sure I still have an idea how to do it, but we're faking it till we make it, or whatever it's called. But having you on board made it doable, possible, and a shared enthusiasm certainly has made it a lot more fun.
I agree with that. It's much easier to try something new with a partner and someone who believes in it as well. So, and I will agree, it's been a lot of work, and I've already learned so much just in the 6 or 7 episodes we've recorded. It's been great. So thanks for saying yes.
Of course. And it's interesting because I feel like we've talked to some guests about this topic of like constantly learning and doing things that you're really good at, staying in your lane. But I don't think you and I like to stay in a lane. I think our personalities, and we see this in how we do our business too, but we want to be innovators and we want to try things. And I don't think you nor I are afraid to mess up or make mistakes or admit that we don't know something. I think that's what makes us really good listeners, and like we're students of our own stuff. Mm-hmm. And so this whole experience, it didn't even stem from us saying like, let's create a podcast because that'll be a good marketing strategy for our own business. Like if this is a marketing tool for us, it's going to be a while before we probably can leverage that or make that happen. I think this is much more a passion project and the fact that we love to connect with other people. Mm-hmm. But I think a lesson here is if something's in your heart and you want to do it in your business, it's okay to do it and figure it out. Say yes and figure it out later. And there's so much opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
And that's totally what we're doing.
Yep. Yeah. And we tell our clients this, you have to take risks. You have to get out of that comfort zone and just try it. Even with, I remember when I first started doing like Facebook Lives, they terrified me and I hated doing them. And now I don't even think twice about it. And I've learned a ton over the years by doing them. But yeah, I don't think our motivation was, we're going to get X amount of clients, or like that wasn't really even in our plan. It was like you said, let's let's connect with other people. Let's do something new. Let's do something innovative, and let's have fun doing it.
Exactly. So I think it'd be fun if we shared how we came up with our name, the M word.
Yes. So that was also a um, two to three pages of um, possibilities and options. And I think we started going down one direction of good vibes and community, and it was kind of falling flat for us. Um, so I did sneak in the M word kind of towards the end, and I don't think you saw it right away. And I kind of was like, oh, she probably didn't like it. And I thought of the M word because we both cuss a lot. Um, behind the scenes, of course.
Well,
And
sometimes with a child in one's background, and which is like the downside of Zoom is I forget that my team have younger children, and I've been working on myself.
yes. Well, and my children just say mom language. So they're used to that. So it was a spinoff of the F word. Both of our last names started with M. Marketing is sometimes portrayed or some people think it's a bad word, like, oh, marketing, I don't want to do that, or oh, marketers are bad. So there's some hints there of it's a bad word. And I just thought it was kind of fun. It was kind of a well, what does it mean? And spurs curiosity.
Yeah, I think I did miss it initially in the list, our brainstorming list. And when we were coming back through, it just, when I guess I really read it and I was like, oh, I love that name. And I could, I love where we ended up even with our treatment, our logo treatment for this podcast, because it's like, you know, the M word, it's to us, marketing's so powerful. It is words, it's imagery, it's feelings, it's impressions. And I mean, honestly, like our best clients are the people who say, oh, marketing, like, please come and help me,
Right.
because we love it. And so we really want to create a place to have conversations with people who either also really love it and can shed some light in their own experiences, or maybe they're not the practitioners of it, but they really do appreciate the power of marketing. And I know for me, my goal would be that if you're listening to this, first of all, thank you. um, but that we share with you like real life stuff, not theory, not like pie in the sky, where if you don't know the lingo, you can't do it. But if you're listening to this, it's because you're in marketing and you want to connect with others who share your passion, or maybe it's part of your job and you've got more to learn. We all have more to learn. And so our goal is each episode has practical ideas or resources or other takeaways that you can apply in marketing. And that this isn't just talking heads who are telling you how great their marketing is, but it has nothing to do with you. So,
Right. And I think it also I'm hoping it will take away the fear factor. A lot of our guests will say, like, I haven't tried this, or I was afraid to do this, but I gave it a shot, or no, I would never do that. That's why I hire people. Like, I think that it's really having that real authentic conversation that will allow people to have an idea. I mean, even if it's someone who owns a retail store and you have a restaurant, um, they still will give you a good idea. And just to hear, I think someone else say, I was afraid to do this, but I tried it and it worked. Or I tried it and it didn't work. I think
yeah.
it just puts some humanity to it.
Yeah.
And
And I think one of the neat things that we've heard already just in the last few weeks is uh, a real hesitation, a real fear. And these are business owners, these are marketers at all different stages of their business journey. But there's a commonality around willingness to spend money in one's marketing. I think there's this idea, especially nowadays, that marketing should be free and easy because we live in the world of digital technology. And I think people who practiced our craft 20, 30 years ago when we were just starting out. Well, I'm older than you, but there was marketing was advertising and was spending money, and it was doing events, and it was getting in front of people in really sort of physical, meaning, input ways. Whereas nowadays, there's just this feeling that it should just happen and anyone should be able to do it because it's social and it's accessible. And while it's become more accessible for people to practice the craft of marketing, I don't think it's any less nuanced and complicated than it was back when you had to spend a ton of money. But so I think this getting the conversation of money on the table, for me, it's already proved fascinating because we run into that with our own clients. We run into it with ourselves. How much should we invest in, and what risk, and how will we know if this pays off?
Well, and I also think nowadays there are so many places that you can advertise. There's so many social media platforms. There's so many ways to email market. And there's still the more traditional radio and bus ads. And I think it can be really overwhelming to someone where they're just like, oh, I give up. I don't even know where to begin. So, these guests that we have on our show, they tell us where they started. They tell us where they are today, and they tell us what they might work towards tomorrow. So it's really fascinating. And I've so far learned so much from each of our guests, and I'm excited for our listeners to hear them too.
I am too. And I really would invite folks, if you're listening to the podcast, comment on our social, ask questions. Our guests are going to be more than willing to engage with you. We see this as the start of a conversation. It isn't the end with each guest that we have on. So I really hope that this becomes a mechanism for people to talk about all of the nitty gritty, the hard lessons learned, and meaningful takeaways and resources. So please do engage with us. Let us know what you think of each episode. Be forgiving, please, especially our first few episodes where we had that learning curve with our microphones. And thank you.
Yes,
thank you for listening.
We have some bloopers we'll definitely be sharing on our Instagram and Facebook stories. So, and for those, our social media is Arlington Strategy. So you can follow along with us there as well. And we are excited to connect with you.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for listening. We hope you'll come back. Subscribe to the M Word wherever you listen to podcasts. And for more uncensored conversations, visit the M Word page at arlingtonstrategy.com.